Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're exploring the ultimate human fantasy, hacking our own evolution. I mean, imagine a reality where the only thing standing between you and literal superhuman abilities is just your sheer willingness to survive in a brutal, totally alien dimension. We're talking about a universe where grit, blood, and strategy literally rewrite your DNA.
So how exactly do you evolve past human limits? To answer that, we're breaking down thousands of chapters of incredibly complex world building from the Super Gene universe. We know the story, sure, but today, we're looking under the hood. We're looking at the underlying math to answer that fundamental question of survival, power, and human potential.
First, we have to understand the arena itself, God's sanctuary. And when you stop and think about the core mechanics of this alternate dimension, it is absolutely brutal. You aren't just hunting terrifying creatures. No, you have to physically consume their flesh and absorb their genetic essence, these precious things called genopoints, just to force your body into an evolutionary breakthrough. It's a literal, bloody genetic arms race. There are zero shortcuts here. Every single stat boost is earned through raw survival. Here's our player's guide for today. We're going to systematically break down the mechanics of this universe. We'll start with the rules of evolution, move into the creature hierarchy, check out beast souls and arsenal, dive into hyper-geno arts, and finally wrap up with spirits and ancient tech. All right, Section 1, the rules of evolution. Let's start with the baseline mechanics of how a human actually levels up in this universe.
There's a massive difference in power scaling depending on the rarity of the genes you actually manage to absorb. The whole system runs on what's called a fitness index. So if you just spend your time grinding, eating ordinary creatures, well, 100 of those points might only boost your index by, say, 8 to 10 points. Primitive genes, that gets you 15 to 20. Mutant points push you up 25 to 30. But sacred blood points, those can skyrocket your fitness index by 40 to 50 points. The math is super simple here. The rarer the meat, the stronger the human. And in a world where a single point of fitness is literally the difference between life and death, that scaling is absolutely everything.
Now, the magic number for a baseline evolution is exactly 100 total genopoints. Most humans in the Alliance, they're totally thrilled to max out their stats at a fitness index of maybe 15 or 18 if they practice special arts. But achieving a perfect 100 in only the rarest categories, that pushes an unevolved human's fitness index past 20. It's an unprecedented anomaly. It's a completely game-breaking status that our protagonist Han Sen actually pulls off. He fundamentally breaks the known ceiling of human capability before an evolution even technically triggers. Which brings us to Section 2, the creature hierarchy. Now that we know how to level up, let's look at the enemies you actually have to farm to get those points.
The ecosystem of the sanctuary is strictly tiered. You've got ordinary, primitive, mutant, sacred blood, and finally, super creatures. To put the grind into perspective for you, it takes an average mutant creature about 3 months to naturally evolve into a sacred blood creature, and hunting anything at that sacred blood tier, that is a lethal gamble. We are talking about monsters that have wiped out entire, heavily armed military squads just for looking at them funny. It's an environment that aggressively, and I mean aggressively, weeds out the weak.
And this is where the conventional knowledge of the Alliance just totally falls apart. Officially, human evolution is capped at the sacred blood level. The public doesn't even know anything higher than that exists. But Han Sen discovers a totally broken secret path. By using this mysterious black crystal, about the size of a pigeon egg, he can miraculously speed up creature evolution. This lets him farm and consume completely undocumented super creatures. It's a massive risk, obviously, but the reward is a tier of power the rest of humanity hasn't even begun to fathom.
But hey, you don't just gain raw stats from eating creatures. Let's move to Section 3, Beast Souls and Arsenal, because occasionally you hit the jackpot with the ultimate loot drops. These drops are called Beast Souls. When you kill a creature, there's this tiny, literal, lottery-level chance its soul becomes yours to command. And we aren't just talking about rigid, lifeless swords or shields here. A Beast Soul armor will seamlessly shift to fit your exact body shape, like a second skin. It gets wilder, too. Parasite Beast Souls, like the Aqua Reaper, can literally hijack an opponent's nervous system from the inside. Doppelganger souls, like the Beetle Knight, they can step right out of a mirror and fight completely independently, even using your other weapons. I mean, the tactical combinations are just endless. By maxing out that secret black crystal path we talked about, Han Sen builds an arsenal that shouldn't even be mathematically possible. His collection of ultra-rare Super Beast souls is staggering. He's got the Blood Snail acting as an indestructible pet armor, the Cursed Wolf, which is a lethally sharp weapon,
The golden growler, a mount that can actually shift its size from an elephant to a small mountain. Then there's the desert bird, providing a massive stat-boosting aura. And most incredibly, the holy angel. This is a pet beast soul that actually eats meat and evolves entirely on its own, almost like a companion character. It is an overwhelming concentration of firepower.
Equipment is really only half the battle, though. In Section 4, Hyper-Geno Arts, we explore the internal engine. Because to truly break the system, you need the right skills.
Let's look at how you build your character's internal biology through these Hyper-Geno Arts. These are techniques specifically designed to push human cells way beyond their natural limits. Jade Skin gives you incredible endurance and temperature control. The Heresy mantra strengthens your heart and veins so much that you can break gold with your bare hands. Though imagine the worst hunger pangs of your life, multiply that by 100, and that's the agonizing side effect of training it. Overload acts kind of like overclocking a computer processor, burning your body's energy past safe limits for a massive power spike. And Microcrystal literally transforms your cells into damage-resistant crystal, making laser weapons totally useless against you.
But the origins of these arts actually go way deeper than modern science. There's this cryptic lore drop found in an ancient scroll written by a Taoist named Dong Xuan. It reveals that the deepest secrets of genetic power, and maybe even the very ability to enter God's sanctuary in the first place, might actually stem from ancient lost martial arts practices like Qigong. Mastering these ancient techniques is the true key to opening your gene locks, absorbing the raw power of the universe itself. It perfectly bridges that gap between ancient philosophy and hyper-advanced biology.
And as you level up and move from the first to the second God's sanctuary, the world dramatically expands. That brings us to Section 5, Spirits and Ancient Tech.
You see, the very discovery of this universe is bathed in a deeply terrifying mystery. Way before the public knew anything about the sanctuary, the military sent a doomed expedition called Secret Service Unit 7. They stayed for less than 7 days. More than half of them were wiped out by horrors they refused to fully explain. Now, the survivors did bring back the data needed to build modern teleporters, but shortly after returning to the Alliance, every single survivor died under extremely mysterious circumstances. It sets this incredibly dark, suspenseful tone for the entire setting.
And humanity definitely isn't alone out there. The geopolitical lore is fascinating when you compare human adaptability against the rival alien Shura race. The Shura are terrifying. Their royalty boasts a natural base fitness index over 100 by the time they are just 10 years old. But here's the catch. The Sanctuary fundamentally rejects them. If a Shura teleports in, they can't use beast souls, they can't absorb genopoints, and their immune systems immediately collapse, killing them within 3 days. So it's an environment perfectly tailored for human evolution, but completely toxic to our greatest enemies.
Furthermore, the sanctuary isn't just biology and monsters, it is littered with the diamond-like ruins of the crystallizers. They're this extinct alien race, and their leftover tech is highly dangerous. You've got simulating crystals that mimic machines, memory crystals holding vast amounts of data, and guard crystals. Just imagine a floating golden Rubik's Cube that shoots out dozen-foot-long lightsabers, instantly slicing heavily armored humans to ribbons. But if you actually manage to survive all that, you might find brain crystals, which permanently hack and enhance the human mind's processing power.
So, bringing this all together for our ultimate takeaway. After breaking down all these rules, the intense ecosystem, the beast souls, the hidden lore, what does the endgame of human evolution actually look like?
This right here is the ultimate payoff of mastering this brutal system. If you achieve the impossible, if you hunt in secret, consume the rarest life essences, and max out exactly 100 super geno points before evolving, you don't just get a simple stat boost. No, you undergo a total biological rebirth. Your body is purged of all impurities, and you achieve a unique evolutionary status called the Super Body King Spirit. The system itself literally declares, "The king rules the world, all spirits shall bow." You become a king among the spirits of the Second Sanctuary, transcending absolutely everything the Alliance thought was possible.
Which leaves us with a pretty profound thought to end on. When survival means entering an alien dimension, fighting unimaginable horrors, uncovering lethal ancient technology, and literally consuming the genetic essence of your enemies, we really have to ask ourselves, just how far would you be willing to go, and what would you be willing to risk to completely transcend your own humanity? Keep that in mind next time you think about your own limits. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep evolving.